looking good. I am so can't see most of you, but I know you are. So if we don't know each other, my name is Kim McManus, and wow, have I been here for a long time. And it has been a good day. Or and I were at TED Global, my first TED Global, with a bunch of really smart people. And we were on the second row and for part of the sessions, and Erwin fell asleep. And I'm like, the camera is right there. Can you wake up? And he said, Kim, is it me or is it them? Because not every talk was great. But I hope this talk won't be like a sleeper. So here we're going to start, all right? And we're going to go someplace, let's go someplace weird tonight. Like it. I like my weird Bible. So in the Old Testament, deep in the Old Testament, there's a book called Ezekiel. And I love Ezekiel because I think of that prophet, especially as if I could compare him to a character on TV, he would be like Saturday Night Live drunk uncle. You know, drunk uncle? That you just don't know what to expect. One time God told him, my prophet, go and hide your underwear under a rock for a very long time. And he did it. And God said, now go back and take it out and show the people of Israel, look at my underwear. Look, this is you. You are so dirty and filthy. And he did it. That is Ezekiel, drunk uncle. That is our Ezekiel. That's where we came from because he was so radical. He didn't think any kind of metaphor was too much for him. And God met him in that place, and God said, I have a vision for you, Ezekiel. And through Ezekiel, I'm gonna tell you the dream that I have for all of Israel. And he gave it to him in a vision. Can you hear that? Oh, never mind. Okay, I can still hear it though, but that's okay. All right. All right, here we go. So Ezekiel 43, but we won't go there. It just says this. God said, because this is a very long vision and it lasts chapter after chapter after chapter, and I don't understand so much of it, but God gave Ezekiel this man, and he said, he's going to be your guide through this vision. And so the man would take him here, and then he would measure things, and then the man would take him here, and he would do things, and God would show him this thing. But he said, ultimately, I want my temple in the middle of my people, right here. Doorpost to doorpost. If I build my temple in the middle of Israel, right where they are, they will see that I am their God and they will be my people, and we will have this love, this intimate, loving relationship with one another, a real relationship, because they'll get it. They'll get it. They'll get it. You think they ever got it? They never got it. But it was a dream of God. And so this vision is beautiful, and this is the part where we're dropping into the story in chapter 47, right? So chapter 47 goes like this. The man, who's the man? The messenger of God, right? The man brought me, who is me? Two people are getting it. I did all that introduction. Stay with me. The man brought me back to the entrance of the temple, and I saw water coming out from under the threshold of the temple. Get it? No. Toward the east, for the temple faced east, and the water was coming down from under the south side of the temple. Get it now? No, you don't get it. South of the altar. South of the altar. He then brought me out through the north gate, and he led me around the outside of the outer gate. Anybody? No. Facing east, and the water was trickling from the south side. I don't either. That's the thing. I know it was important to God, and maybe in context of where they where they were, but I don't get all the directions. Only one thing. I knew that in this vision, God came from the east and he entered his temple through the east. And the glory of God was so overwhelming that in this vision, Ezekiel knelt down and his face was to the ground because it was so overwhelming. And that's the only thing I understand about the introduction of that chapter whatsoever. I just know where at my house, when I see water coming out from anything and trickling down, I realize that something is leaking and a pipe is broken. And nobody in my house knows how to fix anything. Nothing. So that is point one. Erwin does not know how to fix anything. So here comes that water. And what are we going to do about it? And what is the significance for the water under the temple coming out the south and going where, God knows where? We don't have to know everything or understand everything or make everything up so it looks like we understand everything. Just know that some parts are okay. Get the parts you do understand. So let's move on. Oh, it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. Okay, so this is what happened. In verse 3, as the man went eastward with a measuring line in his hand. Oh, I like this because we are obsessed with measuring, don't you know? Or do you like to measure? Oh, if I don't know where something is, I'll just get my little trusty little measuring tape out. Hey, let's just put that. And we do that in everything. You know, we size you up. Hey, you got the right clothes, you look the right size, you tall enough and blonde enough and thin enough, and you're young enough, you fit in. Come on in, you know. We measure everything. You got the in my neighborhood, no matter how old anyone is, if their daughter went to Marlboro Girls Academy, they will tell you that within the first minute of the conversation. Oh, my daughter went to Marlboro 22 years ago. And really, my daughter was homeschooled. Yeah. And it's like, wah, wah. It's all right. But, you know, we are always measuring up. You walk in the room, and you know people are measuring you. They're looking, we call it judgment. Right? We don't like to call it that, but that's what I call it in my head when I enter a room. So Ted Global, I realize, there are a lot of smart people. Smart people, just keep quiet, please. Just keep your mouth shut, and they won't know how dumb you are, because I know they're all sizing everybody up. Because you have this big, huge name tag that says your picture on it, ask me about, and this is who I am as important as. But, you know, that's who I am. And I'm like, oh, no. I'm going into way too smart of a room. And you know what? Because we love to measure. We just naturally measure everything. And this angel, this messenger of God, had a measuring line, and he was like, I'm going to measure some things. Tonight, can we just measure one thing? Let's measure each other by the depth of who we are spiritually. We agree to that and have that conversation. And it's kind of an internal conversation. It doesn't matter how, you know, what your hair looks like, how tall you are, how successful you are, how many zeros you have in your bank account. It just is a personal conversation between you and God, in all my opinions. All right. It says, with that measuring line in his hand, he measured off 1,000 cubits. That's about 1,500 to 1,700 feet. And then he led me, Ezekiel, he led me through water that was what? He led me through water that was ankle deep. Wow, that's, you know what, 1,500 feet? That is starting at Franklin and going down to Hollywood Boulevard. And so he led me all the way, and I landed in water that was ankle deep, Ezekiel said. Now, if ankle deep water was a spiritual condition, what would that look like? Because I know what it looks like for me when I'm in ankle deep water. We would call that what? Shallow. Good answer. We call that shallow. What does it mean to be? Oh well, we know what it means to be a shallow person, and we don't want to marry a shallow person, but I hear a lot of conversations. I want this deep guy with like, yes, you do want a deep guy, but you are shallow. That's only a conversation I have privately. But I wonder how many people we draw that's deep over here in this area, right? Most deep people don't hang out in shallow water, right? Oceanographers don't hang out in shallow water. Navy SEALs don't hang out in shallow water, girls. Surfers don't have, maybe a little few washed up surfers might hang out in shallow water, but usually surfers don't hang out in shallow. Don't look, I will win this argument. So anyway, so shallow, but what is the spiritual shallow? All right, look, it's this. Avoiding my real issues is easier than facing them. Which leads me to a state of inertia. And it tends to paralyze me. I can't shake it loose. And then I become paralyzed and I remain unchanged if I'm in that state of inertia for too long. If I stay in that position, some of us drift in and out, but this is like a condition that you have. If you're constantly staying in that shallow water spiritually and you remain unchanged, that's not where God wants you to be, right? And so then, for me, I get in this unhealthy pattern of automatic thinking. No, I'm not good enough. No, I can't. I'm not a great speaker enough. I don't deserve to be out there. I am this. I am not this. I'm too much this. I'm too old. I'm too da-da-da-da-da-da. And it just keeps going on and on and on. And I was sitting there at TED Global, and I was thinking, just be quiet. Just be quiet. Let everybody else speak. And then I realized something in that thinking, that automatic thinking patterns that I have going. With the work we're doing in Malawi, is that going to benefit anybody if I don't go and try to find partners? No, speak up. And so I'm like, hey, sitting with everybody. And I was like, why are you gravitating toward all the speakers? I'm like, I got things to learn. I got partners to get. I only have a few days, and I'm like, oh, wow. I'm not there anymore because when you have so much automatic thinking that you let guide you or let paralyze you, risk is your enemy, right? Risk becomes your enemy. That's shallow. One more, Jean. Okay, right here. So then, it's not natural. It's not natural to see a grown man in a kiddie pool. Wearing, wait for it, wearing floaties. With his mommy. Okay, that's not natural. You can look at, and then you can imagine all the hairy chest and all the things that go with that. No, but it's not natural because men aren't supposed to be that place. But I'm telling you, it's as much an indictment on mothers as it is men. I am a baby boomer. I have raised children. I know, and I have seen mothers protect and guard and deflect all of this off their children, and they raised shallow men who are afraid to move and grow up. I could switch it and say, because I know mothers raise shallow daughters and fathers raise shallow daughters. I'm not just putting it off on, I'm putting it off on everybody. We're not supposed to be that. We set so many boundaries and so much protection around. We don't want anybody to feel anything uncomfortable or less or dangerous and so we just keep you right here in this place. You know why? Because we as mothers, we have found this place to be quite comfortable, thank you. And so we ourselves have planted ourselves here and we have forgotten that you need to grow up. Because in some ways we have not grown up spiritually. So beware of that. I don't know if that is your condition, but beware of where you are in the story. God did not create you for shallow. God, in your DNA, put in the human DNA, destiny, progress, growth, advancement, you being aware of your own potential to advance and God wanting to do something. He has called you out. He has said, I have put eternity in your heart. Whew. All right, let's go back. let's put on the glasses. And then he says in verse 4, he measured off another 1,500 feet, and he led me, Ezekiel, through water that was knee deep. That is a long way. 1,500 feet. Franklin to Hollywood Boulevard in shallow water? And now you take another 1,500 feet, and there you're ending up in water that is knee deep. You know, you can give the illusion that you're growing, and you're still just as shallow, because the shallow water lasts for a while, right? And then one day you end up in knee deep water, and you're like, whew. Wow, if you're not a water person, this is scary right here. Now, I get it if you or a high diver, or if you're a long distance Olympian. Okay, I get it if you're a swimmer. I wasn't raised around water, and so it was always terrifying for me. But knee deep, here if it's knee deep was a spiritual condition, it would be like this. It looks like you've come afar, but you could as easily go back as you could go forward. You know those people? Those knee deepers, They're like, start and stop. Okay, let's start over. And then let's do this again. About anything in your life, spiritually, anything in your life. They're just stop and go, stop and go, stop and go. Start, stop, quit. All right, start over again. All right, start, stop. Ah! Okay, here we go again. Here we go. Start again. Quit. Stop. Turn around. That's just like a pattern. Is that a pattern? You stuck in a pattern? Oh, because change, man. Entrenched patterns can be so fierce. I know for me, I am not Erwin can come in and he can say, I'm eating healthy now, and by lunch he could lose 5 pounds. This is me. I am going to get healthy now. Let's go get donuts. Because my automatic thought is tomorrow, man, tomorrow. It all starts tomorrow, And it is so wrong, and it has been so many years to get even into knee-deep water. So first time I got to the gym, the trainer said, I would like for you to run a mile on the treadmill before we start. Okay, right, great. I said, yeah, when I run a mile on this treadmill, it will be the workout, thank you. And I have no shame in 24 Hour Fitness Hollywood, because I realize nobody is looking at me. They're all looking at themselves. So it's all right. I'm good. So I started, I started on that treadmill. I'm like, I can't do it. Automatic thinking, I can't do it. And then I got to a quarter mile. I'm like, oh my gosh, I got to a quarter mile without stopping. And then I realized a quarter mile turns into a half mile, which turns into, which was a challenge for the South Pasadena crowd. 3/4 of a mile, and the day, and you marathoners will not appreciate this. One day I reached a mile without stopping, and then the clouds parted in my brain, and I had a new thought. I think I could run a marathon. I had that thought. I'm like, where'd that come from? Yeah, but the donut cloud, part, and I had that new thought, and I'm like, I think I can do something else. And so I ran my first 5K, and my girls were beside me, and because they wouldn't quit, I wouldn't quit. And yeah, I was gasping. I was really hard. It was beautiful, the beach, and it was like a little windy and all that. And I came across that finish line. I'm like, I did it. And they gave me this. I didn't win. This is for participation. And I don't know if that's you and you come in expecting to get a medal for just showing up. Look, that is high quality Toys R Us stuff. It will not ever break. It will not ever break. But we are not getting any trophies for just showing up. I know that this whole pattern of stopping, starting, in and out, not all in, but definitely not all out. You show up when it feels good and great, weather and all that. I know that when I see you, shake your hand, I'm not going to see you for another month. Because that's your pattern. That's what you got going. I'm saying you're just in knee-deep places. You see, you have to take mastery over your movement. When you take mastery over your movement, it creates momentum. Which creates more momentum. And you just keep going and you don't stop, right? But the beautiful thing about taking mastery over your own movement and it creating momentum is people see that momentum and they feed off of your momentum and it takes them to a different place. You know how good that is? You know how healthy that is? And that'll all come without a medal. That'll all come without a medal, except I'm going to keep my medal. Put my medal away. So, I love that. What are you gonna do, right? What are you gonna do? You're gonna stay there? And we move forward. It says, he measured off another 1,000 cubits, another 1,500 feet, and he led me through water that was, wait, how deep was it? Up to my waist. So I went from to here and now I'm up to my waist. Now, this is where there are forces that are completely out of your control at work, all right? There are forces that are out of your control because those of us who are not really comfortable with this and they finally get to knee deep, when they get to waist deep, there's some thoughts that go through your mind. If I go any further, I'm going to have to learn to swim. Can I do that? Have I got it in me? Am I really all in here? And what about all those things that are like touching my leg as they swim by? I'm not liking that. I don't like that too much because it's out of my control, and I love my control. Come on. How much do you love your control? Emerson, you pay attention? How much do you love your control? I love my control. I love my space at home. I love having control of my time and all my coffee dates. And I love that I have some space here and I have boundaries here. And people at LAX brush up against me too close in line. I'm like, okay. Back up. Just back up a little bit, because I love my space. Right? We love control. But here in this place where it's waist deep, you're losing control. And you feel the undercurrent pull you, and you feel things are going to go either way, right? I could go with the undertow, because the forces that are out of your control are both positive and negative, both holy and unholy. The ones that are going to pull you down horizontally down the coast, those are the things that are your weakest self. Those are the things that always plague you when you go to pray. Oh, man, yeah. Oh, I think about it, and it just consumes you. What are those things that are pulling you further and further away? Maybe not back into, but maybe absolutely into darkness, right? That's the undertow current of all of this thing, right? And then there's this holy force, this holy current that is propelling you to go forward. And that is so beautiful, and so you're getting a sense of it, right, in this waist-deep water. God is connected with me, and he has a plan for my life, and he loves me. He loves me. And it is in a place sometimes in my shallow self, I'm not convinced. I'm just not convinced God loves me. We still are having that conversation? Are we still going to have that conversation about the love of God? You need to get over the love of God and just accept it and realize every day you wake up, it's a gift. Breathe, it's a gift. Have a bed, it's a gift. Have a car, it's a gift. Have a bus token, it's a gift. Have a meal, it's a gift. That is God feeding you. That is God transporting you. That is God giving you a work, a job. You got a friend? It's a gift. That you don't have 1,000 friends? Oh, poor you. Oh, poor you. But you know what? Don't be stuck in that conversation that God loves you. God's like, I am so your friend right now that I want your best. I want to talk with you. I want to be there in this moment. It is the time to trust him with all you have and with all you could have. It's the unknown, right? Are you okay with moving forward into things you cannot see, that you cannot control, and that you cannot know? Are you okay with that space? And if you are, you can move forward. But God is not going to take you from shallow to the deep. He's not going to take you there. It's a journey. It's a journey from Franklin to Hollywood Boulevard and beyond and longer over and over again, right? But it's like in here you have decided, I'm going to learn to swim. I'm going to do this. I am going to accept and trust God for who he is for my life. And I'm going to establish some patterns because I don't want to be pulled by the undertow. I don't want to be pulled by a rip current, whatever that might be. I tried it, but I didn't understand it. But I know that if there's an oceanographer in my future, I'm going forward, right? If there is depth in my future, I'm going forward. And translate that spiritually in your own life, right? That your habits developed in prayer, your habits developed in serving, your habits developed in how you love well, and your communication, your honesty issues, that they're all formed right here. Because it's going to be that will determine if you go forward. God said, if your heart is not pure, I cannot trust you. I will not trust you with great things, right? If you're not responsible, how can I give you things to be responsible over? If you are a poor leader, how am I going to give you greater leadership capacity, right? There's a lot of testing going on in these waters. Can you feel it? Can you feel it? I know that some of you, because I know you, are struggling with that pull, right? And it could go either way for you because the tide here, the undercurrent is so strong. And yet the power of God has been so present in your life. Someone who was running away today showed up at a restaurant because they'd already left. And 10 or 12 people from Mosaic show up in that same restaurant. And she said, I came to this restaurant because I knew all of you would be at Go Get 'em Tiger. And I'm like, wow, if that happened to me, that is a sign from God that you better be running back here. You better be running. God is after you. He is showing you signs and wonders right here. But what are you still missing? There's so much to discover in the mystery of God, but you're satisfied with staying waist deep, and you've been like this for years? What is it that you're waiting for and are afraid of? And I tell you, it's fear right here that will keep you from swimming. And you guessed it, man. There is swimming over here happening. All right, let's go. It's good, right? It's good. It says this. He measured off, we're in verse 5. He measured off another 1,000, another 1,500 feet. But now it was a river, baby, that I could not cross, because the water had risen and it was deep enough to swim in. A river that no one could cross. And he asked me, son of man, can you see this? Can you see this? I'm over here with security. I'm way over here. Can you see me over here? I'm over here in the drum section with Haven. You know? Look, son of man, can you see this? Now, if you're very goal-oriented and you're like numbers and let's get this, let's knock this out, 5% body fat, if that's a thing, whatever. Whatever you're climbing, whatever ladder you're climbing, baby, it's like, can you see this? Well, if you're that, you want to cross over and get to the other side because that's a goal. That's always the goal, right? Go through it, get through it, power through it, right? And he's like, you can't swim this, Ezekiel. It's too high for you. It's too much for you. And nobody can get across this. It's too much. Have you ever been in a place where we are completely out of control here? You feel like, oh man, I wish I could rescue Houston. I want to go in there. Why is this happening? I want to go. You know, Martwan, I see your Facebook. You're ready. You're there already, right? But wonder if we cannot control weather. We cannot control big government. What about that? And God said, this is not about that. This is not about getting over on the other side. If you're old like me, and look, I'm 58 years old, and I'm standing in a different place than you are. And I'm telling you from the future that this all goes in about a blink and a half. This journey lasts only about 2 breaths and a cough. Right? About 3 lattes and a real bad cappuccino. That's how long this journey of life is, and then you arrive at 58. You call me up when you get there, okay? Because I'm telling you what I see. This is a really short journey. So don't waste it over there or over there or over there. Spend it all here. Spend it all here. Spend it all here. Because people my age think, I got to get to the other side. It's called glory. It's called heaven. I got to get there because this is too hard down here. I have these conversations. My peers, I'm like, we're just 58. Why are we giving up already? And yeah, I sing glory and wonder, and I'm saying in my head, I'm ready, Jesus, call my name. Call my name. You know, I'm listening. But then there's a part Jesus says, no, you're in the deep place, and can you see it? Do you know why I've got you here? Because people are drowning all around you. And even though you don't know how to swim, you can save somebody. This is really deep. The river is rising, and he wanted Ezekiel to be in the middle so he could see a unique perspective of what was happening on the shore, what was happening all the way back, and what was happening down the center. And so this is what came of that conversation. I'm going to come back here. This here is the miracle of God. It is both the miracle of God and your stewardship of your skill and your talents. Don't forget that. God is not going to do everything for you here. And people, they sometimes don't make it out of the deep waters. They sometimes give their life on a field where it's dangerous and it hurts and it hinders them for life. You know, what we do here at Mosaic is difficult, and to be so public is even more difficult. I read this to you before, but you may have forgotten, so let me refresh your memory. I have a son, his name is Aaron. Aaron and I are like this. We've fought, you know, a lot in our day. He ran away to New York. He tells you this, he ran away to New York. And in the turning moments of his life, he sends me this email. April the 8th, 2013. He said, Mom, this is going to make you cry, but that's the only thing I'm not sorry for. I'm making a grocery list for the first time in my life. I'm afraid. It's a little bit laughable, but it's true. I got 3 items, which is eggs, which I really don't even truly know how to make. I didn't teach him, sorry. I will probably call you not long after I write this to figure out how because I'm craving French toast and chicken. I do wish you were here to cook with me, because when you cook, it's always best. Yeah. This email's about me. All right. What you believe is always best. And with that said, it leads me to why I'm writing this. I rejected so many avenues of growing up shallow. I rejected so many avenues of becoming my own person in the pursuit of finding something that could be mine, knee deep. I rejected so many beliefs and moments and chances to be somebody better, waist deep. But I never meant to reject you. Now we're at shallow again. And I never meant to ever make you feel like you were anything but a wonderful mother. And I say this because the day I prayed for, and the day I think you did as well, is here. You're my friend, waist deep, and my mom. And I respect you, and I love you, and I live to honor my father and mother. And I'm writing this because I miss you, and I absolutely love you. And when people say I'm strong, I know it's because of you. You've always been the true north. You've always kept the light on for me. I found my way. I'm here, however far away I am. I found my way back to what really matters in life. Realizing that the pursuit of finding something to be mine is much more enjoyable when it is shared. Shared with family and friends. And you built a home and a church and a son who will keep building, expanding, and pursuing the kingdom of God and telling the story of his son. And now looking back, I feel my own recoil. I shudder at the moments of callous, at my own disobedience. I am grateful for forgiveness that God gives us. I am grateful for you and the love you showed me. You picked me up off the ground. You always forgave me. You were a constant reminder of Jesus in my life. And thank you for never giving up on me. And that is my son, Aaron. God brought him back. The crazy thing about our stuff in my family is that you see it publicly and it's all over the internet. So it better be coming from me and to tell you, yeah. Any one of you could stay here 1 week, be as new as you want to, and have a reason to criticize us for not being all that we need to be. And we are inadequate in every way. But you know what? In my inadequacy, I swim in the deep. I choose prayer. I choose the presence of God. I choose the power of God in my weakness. I have never, ever, for 1 day of my life, felt like I was an adequate mother. But honest to God, I will never give up on my kids because there's something in that. There's something God is going to do through us as a family. We're due for a huge breakthrough. We've had many moments in the shallow where we've fought each other, we've cut each other, we've been so much against each other. But we are on this journey, and we're not going to let each other drown here. We're not going to let each other drown. That's why you need to be in community. You need to be connected to a community. You don't need to be swimming by yourself because that's never a healthy thing, right? But God has brought you to a deep place to show you something new, to show yourself. Maybe this is the night look at this beautiful picture that he showed. This was what God's dream for Israel was. He led me back to the bank of the river. And when I arrived there, I saw a great number of what? On each side of the river, he said to me, this water flows toward the eastern region. It goes down to the Arabah, where it enters the Dead Sea. And when it empties into the sea, the salty water there becomes swarms of living creatures will live wherever the river. You get that? There will be large numbers of what? Because this water flows there and makes the salty water what? So where the river flows, everything will live. Where the river flows, everything that will live. But if you don't know what the river is, you're like, what is going on in this vision? The river that came as a trickling little stream that we thought was a leak in the pipes that turned into a shallow, more deeper. This is the presence of God. It's his very presence. He makes that known. Because everywhere the presence of God is, things become alive again. That's how you know you're in the right location. If there's aliveness, be there. If there is dead, darkness, devastation, stinky, smelly, get out. That is the smell of decay. Don't be a part of that. You know what? This is what the vision was. Fishermen will stand along the shore because things are alive. There's jobs. From Engedi to Engelim, and there will be places for spreading nets. The fish will be of many kinds. But the swamps and the marshes will not become fresh. They will be left for salt. I don't know why. But fruit trees of all kinds will grow on both banks of the river. Their leaves will not wither, nor their fruit fail. You get that? Every month, there's not going to be these long seasons where there's, bad fruit. Every month they will bear fruit because the water from the sanctuary flows to them. And their fruit will serve for what? Food, and their leaves for what? Wasn't that an amazing picture of what God is going to do? A beautiful picture. That was his ideal. I'm going to be healing you. I'm going to be feeding you. I'm going to be providing you with jobs. I'm going to let my presence flow all the way through and around you, and I'm going to protect you. Can you see it? Can you see it, Israel? And they just never could. And his contemporary, the prophet Jeremiah, said this. Jeremiah said this in Jeremiah 2. He said in Jeremiah 2:13, he said this, my people have committed how many sins? 2, they forsaken me, number 1, the spring of living water. And they have dug for themselves their own cisterns, broken cisterns that cannot hold water. That's kind of what we do, right? That's what we do. We just say, oh, I can't measure up to God. And he says, in my most shallow moment, he's not the spring of living water because my thinking is so bad. He doesn't love me. So what I'm going to do is this is the closest thing I could grab to a cistern. Because it's like just a holder of water, right? I'm going to make myself something for myself, something that's, so uniquely me. It's going to have a great exterior and so decorated, and I'm going to look amazing in this thing I've dug for myself. It becomes like this bucket. And then we realize, wow, my bucket is empty. Whoa, no living water flowing through this thing because I don't have it to generate inside of me, so I don't know what's going on. Hey, anybody want to fill my bucket? You be my best friend. You fill my bucket? Come on, I need some takers. Anybody online? Anybody social media? Like, follow. Right? Come on, fill my bucket. Marley says, I love you. I've fallen in love with you. Fill my bucket. Really, right? I want to marry you. I want to, just as long as you don't expect anything from me, we're good. I just need people to keep affirming me, right? And something is completely wrong. Never really holds anything, right? It's just because it's a broken system. It's a broken system of thinking that, hey, if I create something in the perfect boundaries for myself, I will keep people that I like close and people out of my life far. And I just keep lying myself. I just give it all I got. I give it all I got. Hey, look, my designer bucket, right? Look. Oh, I'm sorry. Let's do this, right? And I just stand around in crowds, bars all night thinking, oh, this is going to work, right? And I just shuffle back over here to shallow, thinking that my bucket's going to work, and then it's a trap, right? Bad thinking. But then there's this most beautiful thing, because Jesus came, changed that whole picture. And John, let's go over there. John 7 says this. On the last and greatest day of the party, Jesus stood and in a loud voice, he said, I don't think of Jesus being loud. I just feel like he's like, oh, holy. But this is how Jesus spoke this time. Let everyone in the house who is thirsty, come on over here. Come to me. And drink, right? Come to me and drink. And whoever believes in me, as scripture has said, rivers of living water will flow from within them. Not down out under the temple, because that temple just died and it was burned and not that, but I'm saying I have come and I have put my living water inside of you. And inside of you, living water will flow from within. And by this he meant the Spirit, whom those who believed in him were later to receive. And up to that time, the Spirit had not been given, since Jesus had not been glorified. And now he has been glorified and the Spirit has been given, and we are containers for that Spirit, right? Not that container and not that condition and not knee deep or waist deep, but we are to be in deep water with the Spirit of God flowing through us. And it's so attainable, right? So that tonight I really want to challenge you. I want to challenge you not to stand there, not to wade through or forge through life, but be willing to be engulfed by life. And I tell you one thing, the waves are so bad here. The waves are really big here. And you're going to get one wave that's going to knock you down and throw you under and roll you around. But you're going to come back up, and there's going to be rescue. But this place here is dangerous. We look back at the temple over there. It is so far away now. But we like the security of religion without the danger of faith. Right? And God is going to take you across the world, and he's going to put you on mission. And you're going to look at somebody who doesn't speak your language, and you're going to find a way to love them. And for those who are here, it's going to be your neighbor next door. We're so bad at loving in this city, but we need to get better. And the first order of service in this deep water is, how do we love better? How do we reconcile our differences? How do we resolve our conflict? How do we find that God would never let us go, so we cannot let each other go? Right? Can we swim in that for a little while? Don't be afraid to connect to people, because God is so connected to you. Don't be afraid of a room that you don't belong in, because God has put you in that room to make that room belong to him. And so tonight I just want to put it out here. Your greatest first step is to know Jesus, to know him as your friend. And that when you come to that place of friendship, it is an eternal friendship with him. And I'm just trying to, for all my Christian life, for all that journey up to 58, I've so hung on to the fact that God was my father, my father, my father, my father, because I so desperately needed a father. And now I'm in the season of my life where I just need a friend. And Jesus said, I am your friend, Kim. I am your friend. I hear you when you pray. I move heaven and earth on your behalf. I am for you. I will take the fear away. I will put you in places, and I will open things for you that you've never seen before, because it's a deep place. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. Tonight you need to receive that. You need to receive that. First, you need to receive Jesus if you don't have him. And then for those other people, you just need to receive the message. Like, open your heart enough to receive the message. Did you receive it? Raise your hand. Do you receive it? All right. All right. If you've received it, let me pray for you. God, I pray right now for those who are without you, that you would come and stand face to face, spirit to spirit. And Father, as you see invitation into the life of that soul who is hopeless and without you, and if you're that person, just pray this prayer. Jesus, save me. Jesus, save me. Save me, Jesus. I am yours. Jesus looks through the earth to a heart that belongs wholly to him. I'll use that heart, Jesus says. And he takes that heart on journey. I want to be that woman whose heart is on journey for God, who sees signs and wonders. I don't want to miss a thing. If I die tomorrow, I will die a happy woman. I don't want you to miss that. And so everyone who received the message, I pray over you. I pray, Father, for healing. I pray for faith. I pray for faith to rise. I pray faith to rise. Leaders to rise among us. Skeptics. I pray, Father, for skepticism to fade away. I pray, Father, that we believe in you so intently that nations will come to know you, that governments will fall and rise in their place. I pray, Father, that from among us we will have world leaders, city leaders, leaders that will shape policy, leaders that will love humanity. I pray among us the artists will create powerful works of art and wonderful films. I pray, Father, your spirit in and through like a river, working, healing ministry. We pray all of this in the powerful, friendly name of Jesus. Amen. Thank you. Thank you, people.
All the glory and wonder overcome deepest fears. Oh God, our loving Father, you have come to meet
Mosaic. Come on, Mosaic. Let's just thank God right now. Wow. What a phenomenal word. Can we thank Pastor Kim McManus? That was incredible. I mean, I'm like shaking. I don't know about you. Like, I got goosebumps. That was for all of us. That she put a word in us that cannot stay in us. That now it's up to us that we got to live it out. That we got to move from the shallow water into the raging river and bring people with us. Like, I just want to encourage you, do not waste that word, because that was a gift. And we know, man, I know for so many of you tonight, it was extra special because maybe for the first time in your life or the first time in a long time, you crashed into God. That you let the love of Jesus overwhelm you, and we want to celebrate that with you. So if that was you, and tonight you said yes to Jesus, we have this Bible here as a gift. It says you belong here, because we want everywhere you go with this thing, when you open it up, when you read it, we want it to be a reminder that you are part of a bigger story now. That you belong to Him, and you belong to a family. So before you leave, if that was you and you said yes to Jesus, when we go out the back doors, there's an area called Next Step. There's people on our team that want to help you just to take your next steps in your new faith. And also, we want to give you this Bible. So you'll see people holding it up. Just grab it from them. They might give you a hug. They probably will. Just go with it, okay? But man, what an incredible night. I'm so excited for this week, this month, this year. So now it's up to you. Let's go do it. Have a great rest of your week. We'll see you next week.